The Nazareth militant, Samira, Khbeis, Khoury, 90 years old. And then July 16th happened. A large group of men came. They came out from the bushes. They were everywhere at once. They were dressed like us, so they had to be Arabs. They must surely be men from the Arab Liberation Army, Jaysh al-Inqadh, which was there to defend us. A few Nazarenes began to clap, but they stopped very quickly. Once past the police watchtower, the presumed liberators started shooting. They were Zionists dressed as Palestinians. Nazareth surrendered in order to avoid a bloodbath, which meant that the town was not emptied of its inhabitants. The military camp of al-Maskoubiya served as headquarters for the Israeli army, which declared martial law for all the Palestinians living in the new state of Israel. Like many others, our vegetable gardens and orchards provided us with food, and we went as far as sorting through the hay for the animals to extract a little flour. But after 2 months, it was over. Hunger cast its shadow over the town. A delegation consisting of the mayor and some of the important men of Nazareth decided to negotiate with the Israeli army, and they managed to get authorization to reopen a few shops. Food coupons were distributed to us. In order to settle all the refugees flowing into Nazareth, 7 other women and I set up an organization called Nahda, Awakening. We often demonstrated to express our refusal of martial law, to demand bread and milk for our children, and to ask for work for our husbands. A few of the Nazarenes who had flew before July 1948 were daring enough to come back and settle in the east of the town. One night in April 1949 at 3 a.m, hundreds of armed Israeli soldiers invaded their houses, ripped open the sacks of rice and flour, spilled the oil, broke tables and chairs, and ended up by capturing the men and throwing them in jail. As soon as we heard about this, we, women of the Nahda, gathered the victims, women and children, on the square of al-Maskoubiya, and we were quickly joined by other inhabitants. The soldiers on horseback and equipped with truncheons brought vehicles to evacuate everybody whilst we lay on the ground shouting. The resistance went on for 6 hours. Finally, at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, most of the men had been released and those Nazarenes from East Nazareth were able to stay. But later, when the State of Israel gave us citizenship, they were distinguished by a special stamp, as if to make them special cases. Their identity cards were written in red ink, whereas ours were in blue ink. It was a way of differentiating those who had run away in 1948 and who had come back from those like us who had always stayed.